Hello everyone and welcome back to the Tales of Octavia YouTube channel. My name is Francis, I'm a dungeon master and a Twitch streamer, and today we're going to be talking about Baldur's Gate 3. Now, if you are already subscribed to the YouTube channel, on this channel we usually talk about D&D tips and tricks and homebrew and game design and all that jazz, but I wanted to take a look at Baldur's Gate 3 today as this notion of D&D 5e as a video game and give some of my thoughts of how we can learn some of the things that Larian or the developers has taught us about D&D. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is addressing the idea of D&D 5e as a game. As someone who has just recently played Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, basically the enhanced editions on PC, I realized that not all of the rules really transition well. D&D is also an open world game with essentially limitless possibilities. What would happen if I use Disguise Self as another character? What happens if I approached this location with this party member? Some random encounter would happen. And different reactions to different races and different characters and dialogue choices are all based on race and your class. And most importantly, the one thing I was worried about is the D20, because the D20 can give and take away from your campaign. It might be the only thing that separates you from a possible encounter that leads to a TPK, or possibly finding this niche area of the map, or this niche consequence that leads to a unique event. Completionists, I'm one of them, wants to see everything, at least the ones that I'm interested in. And it's really hard to do that in a video game when everything is kind of random. We've seen before in Pillars of Eternity and even Divinity: Original Sin, there's like a set score, and then if you already meet the standard, you immediately reach that. But in Baldur's Gate 3, you have dice rolls, which can be very catastrophic depending on your luck. So I've been playing the game ever since it's been released, and I'm glad to say that I really love this game. Without getting too deep into it, because I don't want to spoil, I just want to say that I'm very happy with the direction that they took. It does fit an open world theme. Some of my favorite games of all time include Dragon Age and also Pillars of Eternity and Divinity, so this game basically consumed my life. I want to give some of the things that I like and some of the things that I dislike. So first, what I really like to the game is the character interactions and the comfiness of the camp. Just the intimacy of spending a night around a campfire with your party members on your adventure. And I really liked the turn-based strategy. Compared to something like the original Baldur's Gate, which used advanced Dungeons & Dragons mechanics, as someone who isn't like a hardcore RTS player, real-time really messed with like what is actually happening. The graphics, obviously, the game is very old, but it was hard to really see what is happening. And you essentially follow this little chat box that successfully says, is this happening? Or is this a failure? Did you miss? Did you hit? Did you succeed? You have absolutely no idea. But that chat box is like Twitch chat, where it just keeps going down and you in combat and you can't really, see if what is actually happening. In turn-based strategy, I can actually identify what things I can actually see the map that I'm playing on. I can say, oh, I can position myself to gain advantage. I can see what if I'm in the range of somebody for an attack of opportunity, these things actually help improve my experience, and it makes me feel like I'm actually playing D&D. And what I liked about it is Larian wasn't too keen on holding back with house rules. They could have gone the route of just strictly making all of the 5e rules be the rules. And I do like the specific house rules, like using a potion as a bonus action. I like the idea of spells being interchangeable, like not needing a long rest, because that really improved my experience with Baldur's Gate 3. Because sometimes I just want to change my spells in the original Baldur's Gate games, and I would have to take a long rest just for that, and that might possibly lead to some crazy encounter that I'm not really wanting to experience yet. There's a lot of things that I don't like about the game, and that is the hotbar menu. And maybe it's because these are bugs. I'm not saying that these are final. The game is, like I said, in early access. Let's talk about that hotbar. In the left side, you have your actions, and then to the right of that, you have more actions, and you also have your bonus actions. In the middle, you have your character, and on the right, you have a hotbar of certain spells that you prepared that you can just press to activate. You can also put skills like sneak attack and whatnot. I also don't like how the hotbar is arranged, because I remember when I first started playing this game on my stream, I didn't see that the hotbar action as a rogue as a bonus action to dash is actually a bonus action in the hotbar, but a main action on the left side of the UI. It was so confusing at first. I think over time I was able to get used to it, but I honestly don't like it. I wish that there was a way I can change the left side of the UI with those abilities, so that I can have essentially, I know that this is going to be my action, my bonus action, and then have those actions to my right. So just flip the two. I don't know how that would actually look physically, but I think that would be better. The second thing I really don't like is these weird camera angles about the game, especially when you're indoors. I remember there were times when I would walk into a building, or I am inside of a interior where if I could just move, the camera would actually zoom in and out, and when I would left click to move my characters, they would actually try to go to the second floor when I meant for them to go on the first floor. And maybe these are bugs, and these are probably minor complaints, but I'm really excited for what they're going to do next, and I hope Larian will fix these issues, because it stops me from trying to like run through the game with basically 20 different characters. So as a dungeon master playing this game, there's a few things that I learned that I actually want to apply to my home game. And the first thing is the scale of random encounters. What Larian did was essentially random encounters have become random adventures. There were so many times in Baldur's Gate 3 where I would just randomly discover something, like a note on a dead body or a book in a burnt down building, where there's actually a quest tied to it. And that quest led me to several different NPCs, which led to an adventure, which actually threw me into the world a lot more. And then there were times where I'm just walking around and I come across a bunch of monsters that have made this area their home, or maybe the monsters are targeting another band of adventurers or guards or whatever, and it's up to me to figure out what I want to do. Random encounters before, to me, were pit stops. They're not the adventure, they're not supposed to take away from the adventure, but they are there to give the players challenge to show the players that this world is real. What Larian did instead was take these encounters, these random encounters, and make them adventures. And that's something I definitely want to do in my home game. By the time you're watching this, you probably saw the episode where the players stumbled upon a vault, and in that vault there was this makeshift story, and there's actually something that they can experience in there, albeit it was horrifying. However, these are adventures. They're not pit stops. And I'm hoping that eventually I can get myself to that area where I am creative enough for this more sandbox-esque type of campaign. The other thing that I really learned and I really appreciated, I didn't even know it was possible, was having the monsters be considered as people. You can talk to goblins, you can talk to gnolls, you can talk to orcs, you can talk to hags and all of these other creatures, including the ones that you experience randomly. They don't just go out and immediately attack you for some odd reason. They have their own culture, they have their own societies. This game is built on the assumption of a non-black and white moral compass party. I mean, you can do what you want because you're the main character. However, this is based on the game's world and all of the interactions, and I'm hoping that I can make monsters in my campaign more interactive with the players and make the game morally gray. So those are the things that I learned from Baldur's Gate 3. I know this video was a lot different than my previous campaigns. If you didn't know, I'm a huge video game nerd, so you can tell by watching this. I want to try branching out into new things and other kinds of educational content that I can do on top of the content that I'm already making. So let me know if you enjoyed this by hitting that like button down below, and consider subscribing. I upload new videos every single week. As always, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you are coming in from last Monday's stream, we're actually streaming D&D on Wednesday. So hopefully this message will get across, but I'll post all of those links in the description below. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. So, bye guys. I think I read in a book once about this bird man that stabbed a blacksmith before, and that person was definitely chaotic evil. There was another about a Oathbreaker paladin that punched a guard for no odd reason. That person is also evil, but he was trying to save the said bird friend. But he is lawful, so he is lawful evil. The different things, oxymorons.
Wait a minute. I know this story.